Hello everybody. I am going to start Dephemerember. I am not entirely sure how even this is going to work. So it is Dephemerember 2025 and I have watched Dephemerember before several years ago, but not frequently, and I certainly haven't watched every one, but I'm going to jump in and play along on my channel, and I'm super excited because I have been in the mood to be making lots of ephemera. And this year they're not doing journal pages so much as they're creating compartmental making for Dephemerember. So the way I'm seeing this, I'm gonna make pieces of ephemera, pieces of that can be assembled into a book later. And okay, so today is the 1st of December that you're seeing this. It's a few days before that because I'm really hoping today to get through the first 2 days because my son's gonna be here and I might fall behind. I don't know. But I'll just catch up. It'll be fine. I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'm going to do what I can do. And so the first prompt and what I'm going to work on right now is page tab and moth-eaten lace. And I feel like for these prompts, there is a lot of, I haven't seen what Luise and Barbara are doing yet. This is a prompt. If you haven't seen Dephemerember, you don't know what it is. In December, Luise and Heinzl and Barbara at 49 Dragonflies, 2 immensely successful channels, fabulous artists in the junk journal and art journaling community. They're 2 friends. Their friendship is beautiful. Watching them play back and forth together is absolutely amazing. And they host this Dephemerember. So they put out a prompt list and you can do responses, and they exchange journals sometimes. This year they just exchanged 50 pieces of stuff for each other to work with, and I haven't exchanged with anybody. I am kind of doing something with the ginger cat lady, Pam, and she's doing something with 4 of her members, and I'm going to do that with her probably as well, because I really want to just build a lot, but I'm going to do these things kind of on my own. So, very fun. Follow them. I'm sure you already are. You've probably, if you found this, are coming from there. So I have moths and I have lace, and I may or may not cut this up, but I'm going to incorporate moths and lace and potentially some faux moth-eaten lace or distressed lace of some sort to make some page tabs. And I also have cut out, I have a whale tail punch. I want to use up some book pages. I'm trying to use up book pages, so I have some book page tabs that I have pulled out. It seems like a lot to ask to have moths and lace for page tabs, but look at how beautiful this print is. This is just a coloring book that I was looking through the other day as I was thinking about moth-eaten lace. And I found that there are some fun and interesting moths. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull these out. I have this, I bought this coloring book with the idea that I was probably going to use these images for my junk journals. So, oh, look at that. That's definitely a moth, and it's gorgeous. And there's not a whole one for me to use, so I'm going to leave that. That's the same page as this, and I don't think I need another one, and I love this tree page. So this is just a great source. Ooh, look at the beetles. I am going to make a beetle journal next year. I am going to sit down at some point in December and make a list of the things that I want to accomplish in my studio next year. Oh, look at this. Oh my god. While we're playing with moths, I have recently seen one of my people that I follow, it's actually Pam, the Ginger Cat Lady, bought some beautiful stamps that are moths. That would be really fun to have to play with this, but again, I really like this page. It's the same, so I think I'm not gonna, I don't know, I guess I could go through this and look and see if I can find any other, ooh, there's another moth. Look at that. Absolutely stunning. I don't color. I get too caught up in doing all of those things. That is about as much coloring as you'll ever see me do. Although I will sit and draw doodles all day and color those. Let's pull all the moths out. Moths. These are cute. Cutie patooties. I'm getting way more stuff than I actually need here. But I am going to cut these out and have them as fussy cuts for later. So I'm currently working on making a an idea book, and I haven't gotten it assembled yet, but that's coming up. And I'm going to put different ideas in that. Collecting the moths. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to call those butterflies, although I feel like they're probably moths at this point. Might as well just fussy cut out all the moths. Anyway, make some decisions here. Okay, now that we've gotten off track, what I was going to do is, these are going to be small pieces that can be used as page tabs, right? Maybe we'll try and make something bigger with, maybe we'll try and make something bigger that could be used as a page tab as well. But for the most part, I was going to keep these kind of small. But I've already said that if we do small, right, that, like, this is just not very much real estate. This is what I would normally think of as a page tab, right? And page tab, I can do that. I can do moth-eaten lace, but combining a moth-eaten lace with a page tab is going to be kind of, so, yeah, like if I use this, this is like a full page in a journal, maybe more, right? But beautiful, beautiful images. So we're going to stick with this kind of sized thing. I think this is reasonable, right, for the moths. So I'm going to cut some of these out, and maybe we'll try something more medium-sized like this, which will actually fit on a journal page, and maybe we can do something with that and make a page tab that could potentially be something. I'm going to pick out the things I want to work with now. I'm going to set aside some things to fussy cut out later, and we'll see what we want to do. Let's get to fussy cutting. Okay, So I just want to show you where I have been fussy cutting out my pages. And I have all of these beautiful, beautiful, beautiful moths cut out so far. And also I was able to save like this little bit and piece. So I'm already adding to the things that I can use to build, to build ephemera. So I also have this pile of jars and moths. I don't know why I didn't cut out a lot of these like little moths that are like this. So I have these moths, which came off of those pages at the front of the book that I tore out, that are moths that are pink and green, and they're very determined in their colors and their shapes and their moths. So you might not want to put that in every journal, and I'm not really sure how I'm going to turn these into page tabs yet anyway. But this is part of compartmental making. So I can make some of these into page tabs and finish the prompt, and I don't know how many of these I will do. Wouldn't this make a cute page tab all by itself? I could put this onto a page. It could stick out a bit, especially if I put it onto here. And then these two would glue pretty directly onto the back of each other, and you'd have kind of that's the same one on each side. So see, that could work very well, I think, because then I don't have to worry about the back not working. I think that a page tab, you're going to have to worry about, okay, well, it's got to be two-sided to work. That's why these work, is because it sticks out, and then you can see it from the front, and when you turn the page, you see it from the back. So let's just go ahead and make that one of our first ones. So I also, in the interest of, made some more page tabs out of this. These were moths that weren't whole moths, so I just went ahead and punched them out, and they're very pretty. And I can either cover these, but also I think that they'll make kind of interesting things. So if I wanted to make a journal that was like in these color schemes, that's what I'm saying, is that some of these things are very determined already, and they'll go with only a certain number of things. But I also was able to get these black and white images, or these white and green images that are also going to be interesting in the sense that they can go into more places, because they're not, I don't have to worry about like, oh, this is very bright colors with very muted colors later, right? So I think is what I'm going to do is just kind of glue these onto here. And this is not, I don't have any lace. I've skipped the lace and gone directly to moths. So we'll have to think of something to do with this lace, but that's okay, because this is my interpretation of this. Anyway, we can just say that, you know, our printer didn't print correctly, so we missed the moth-eaten lace, and it just said moth and book tab. Oh, am I cheating too much? Oh, well, I'm having fun, so what does it matter? What is the best way to do this and have it be usable later is the question. Now I noticed that I have 2 of these jars, say, and these jars are a little bit bigger than these jars, so I do think that I'm very fortunate that I have this repeating pattern. So I'm going to make this, and I'm going to have this be page tab sample number 1, and that's what I'm going to do. And I think I'm just going to glue it onto this page tab that I've made to make my life, simple and easy. I think, and that will still allow this to function as a page tab. Just think about this. Will this be able to open? Yes. There's still some guidance here as far as I like these. These are easy to align this way. That won't be happening. But that's okay. So this can be used as a page tab. And I would just have to put it where I want it. But see, that could definitely stick out of the book and be cute, right? Okay, so there's one very simple idea where I had just repeating images that were relatively symmetrical, and there you go, 1 page tab done. These as well, just might as well see how that could look. So this is the part of this that will be sticking out of the book, so I could just put those on there like that, and you're just decorating these. But as well, I guess sometimes I use these more like, so, 2 images that are the same, you can just back them up onto each other and do that. And that could be a page tab in the sense that sometimes maybe you have a journaling card like this and you want to put a tab on it, and this would work very well for something like that. And that's what I frequently use these kind of page tabs for that. So they're not sticking out of the book, but they're actually, I'm using them as tabs for journal cards that maybe this is in a pocket and you can pull that out. So you could use something like that, and I'm not going to do anything to these because, I could put that on there, but I'm going to save that as just a piece for that. Okay, I have this big guy. In the same way, if you had journal cards and you wanted to do something large like this, that would be one way to do it. This is a little bit, probably like that would be better. And also, if this was in a pocket, maybe you'd only want to have the pocket coming so you could see this image, and then you could have the writing on the other side. So that's a way to think about this too. If you want to have a little bit bigger images, that would be one way that you could use larger images to pre-make page tabs. The only thing is, I was going to cut this out and come back to this and finish this, but I didn't get all the way around. So I'm just thinking of all the ideas right now for what you might want to do for a page tab, kind of a moth-eaten page tab. But it's not moth. The moth is not the prompt. Moth-eaten lace. So I'm a little bit ahead of myself. I like this piece of lace for doing moth-eaten lace because okay. Let's grungy up this lace. This is a very complex lace. I feel like this is a somewhat complex. Maybe I'm making it a little more complicated than it needs to be for this prompt, but I do think that there's a lot going on with this prompt, right? So for page tabs, one thing that I frequently like to do is just take a small piece of lace or a small piece of and use that as the page tab itself. So you can make a page tab just by you want simple and direct? Okay. Is what we could do. Simply and directly is take, and I'm just going to show you this one piece, grunge this up and maybe cut some holes in it in no particular order. So I think we might just take our lace, kind of scroofy it up, and then take bites out of it in random places as if this was in a drawer somewhere and it was eaten by a moth. And so we're going to wind up with something that we don't even know, just gnawed lace, right? And this is really, I think, where this prompt is going. And so in order to do compartmental making and make compartmental making be a really, truly great part of this. So now I have this and I can make this a page tab by just stapling this onto, I keep using this card as my thing, and I could just staple this on. So, or glue it to the edge of my page. I guess it would be over here, or it could be up here. I don't know. And we got a big hole out of that. And I could do a whole lot of this lace. I could do this giant piece, which I've cut off. And I don't think a moth would eat that. I just can't convince myself. So, and then I guess I could take this moth-eaten lace and attach it to this. And then I would have that as a piece. So I think is what I might do is grungy up some of this and maybe apply some distress inks to this. Maybe I don't want to do that right now. And just cut these bits and pieces of lace to a page tab so that they become part of this. So I'm just adding to this idea of, and so right now I'm just kind of working my way through this idea of moth-eaten lace. And then I could add this to my journal or to my stash of ephemera, and that could be interesting. And then I could also just use these pieces as bits and pieces to add to my punches. I don't think I could make like a sheet of this because I don't think my paper punch would be very happy if I tried to have a sheet of moth-eaten lace and then punch these out. There's probably other ways that I could do that, because it would be really cool if these were like sewn through too. So that's a potential way of going about this, and that would be moth-eaten lace page tab. And then I like the idea of adding the moth because the culprit is here. Although I think that the moth-eaten lace is moths lay their eggs in your clothing and then they hatch and there's caterpillars. Anyway, I think I could be very wrong about that. Okay, so I'm going to grungy up this lace a little bit. Using neutral colors because I'm trying to do a so I'm going to add some distress ink, maybe some walnut stain to parts of this. This is already kind of distressed looking because it is older lace, and you can tell that the colors are kind of, I don't know if you can see that, but it is already kind of grungy lace anyway. So let's play around with adding some distress inks to this for fun. Just spray this lace a little bit and get it a little bit damp to begin with. And this is a re-inker for my vintage photo. And so I'm just adding a little bit of spots to this lace, and I'm going to go ahead and just, why not, this one that I've just cut up. Why not add a little bit into there too? And I'm just going to add a bit, and then maybe I will kind of rub this together and see if I can also just kind of move this around as well. And if you didn't, you can also maybe try and use this as a kind of so let's try and just use this as a stamp onto some of these and see if we can get some of that lace pattern. That could be cool. I don't think it's coming out really as lace pattern, but it is kind of grunging up our this is me playing around and seeing what will and will not work on camera for you using this prompt. So here we could keep those and just use those using lace that looks like it's been more like burned than anything else. Okay. So we can do this. and just get a little bit of color on as much of this as possible in a kind of randomized, grungy way, right? So we've already cut that up. So these are pieces that we will glue onto our page tabs. This is a bit of this, and that looks like a moth almost, like on itself. So I am making it look like this has been lost out in the forest. It has just gotten very dirty. And you can kind of keep playing with this as much as you want. Okay. So this is going to give me a very vintage kind of a look, right? Because this is just some old, it's also grungy, so I guess I could also use that. And I am having kind of a good time. So the simplest form of this prompt, I do believe, would be to just take some lace that is grungy or holey. So I already have these bits that I might attach to something like a page tab. And I will go back and do that. So this could be moth-eaten lace, and attach it to one of my book, to one of my page tabs, right? And glue that on. I don't know if I like that so much. But this could be a really cool idea to then kind of cut some holes more strategically into something like this. And you could use that then with just some holes in it. Cut it kind of raggedy. So this could be your page tab, right? And I do like the idea of, like, at least trying to put this on some sort of a backing or paper or something to kind of hold it together. But you could certainly then use this itself as a page tab on a book, and it would be kind of interesting and pretty, really. But if you put it on something, then it's going to allow you to use that as a page tab. And these aren't big enough, so I'm gonna get, but it would make, you can make a whole bunch of these using this piece. And to make this a little bit easier, again, you could just crumple this up and make your little snips out of it in various places. At random, and you don't have to think about it so much. And you can make several of these in a kind of relatively the idea with compartmental making is I think you want to wind up with a pile of these. And I'm just figuring this out as I'm going along, as you can see. So I'm going to make however many I make of these. And I'm going to make them this big each. And I'm going to find some paper. And I think I'm going to find paper that's maybe in this green color. I'm going to try and see if I can find that. I'm going to attach these guys to a tab. And then, yeah, I have a plan. Okay. I've been playing long enough with this to have some sort of a plan. So now I have a pile of moth-eaten lace. I have made a thorough mess of myself. I can make this extra one. And maybe that would have been the thing to do. This might fit. Okay. These are still damp. If I find something that matches these, then I can make those into tabs, which I can store for later. Okay. That one's too big. Okay. Boy, this prompt is killing me here. I hope they're not all like this. I haven't really thought past this one. But, so, adding together, just out of this prompt, and the thing I'm trying to shove into camera view here is, this is my, We Are Memory Makers. This is just putting it on top of everything that I need here. And I had worked out this, so I cut some strips and I have paired this. My lace is still wet, as you can see. And so I cut down this cardstock because I felt like it was a really great match for these moths. As you can see, it looks great. It's the right color. And I am going to have some very moth specific, paper specific. Maybe I should just go through my things and pull things out that are this color. But for page tabs specifically, I'm pulling this out and I'm going to show you this. So what I did is I cut these down to, I had this sheet of paper and I've cut it down to the size of whatever this is. This is the size, this is 1.5 inches wide and by 11, because this is 8.5 by 11 paper. And then I scored at 3/4 of an inch. And the reason I am showing you this is because this is an all-in-one, or the Works paper cutter. And what it does is it makes, this is a hole punch for punching tags. And this is this makes envelopes. So this is the envelope punch, because you can get the envelope board. And what this does is it rounds the corners so you can make like file folder tags. And I don't know exactly, there's probably something so much easier. But what this winds up being is basically just a corner rounder, but it is kind of cool that it's on here. So I'm going to use this and show this to you, and I am going to use this to make my very clean, wholesome tabs. So now I have a page tab that I've made, and I might, why not, while I'm here, I'm just gonna go ahead and punch those other, it doesn't necessarily want to do, I guess for that one, I can just punch these, will be easier. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. Oh. Uh-oh. Did you see that? It's not so nice anymore. So I'm going to make all of these page tabs like this. So this was also one of the cool things, is that I did wind up, because this is still damp, putting down some of this moth-eaten lace. I decided that I'm going to go ahead and attach my moth-eaten lace like this. And this will, even though this is kind of a bit of a bulky item with this lace, putting it onto this will in fact make it so that I can stick it on there, and it will hold everything together, I guess, rather than just, a lot of times what I would do is just take this lace and staple it on to the side of a page. But that, I don't know, I mean, that's not really making ephemera, right? So I'm going to cut this to whatever size this is, and go about my mass making of these. So this is, I think I cut this at 3 inches. I thought I cut it at 3 inches. I guess I did not. So I think this is, I guess, creative mass making. And I'm just going to say that the great thing about this is going to be that once you've designed something, I think it's easier to make just a bunch of them at that point in time, rather than to, because designing takes a lot of time and effort and thought. And by doing these compartmental making, once I have all of the things out, it's easy to just kind of keep going, but it's also kind of a separate activity, right? I will frequently be like, oh, I will come back to this later. And so sometimes I have like a stack of things that I can just kind of return to. Oh dear, I was going to score these first. Well, I guess I can just fold those ones in half. But these ones I am gonna like score. And I was using, when I scored the other one, I didn't have my scoring tool out, or a bone folder out, which was this plastic piece. The thing I don't like about this scoreboard necessarily is that I'd really like to score from this side over, but I also don't know where I want to score it then, because the measurements are here. So I think that goes that way, and I'm going to score all of these. So I'll make all of these. I'm going to set these aside as another component that I've made. So I'll have some of these that are finished and some of these that are not finished, could be assembled later in Maybe I only need so many of these, but I'll have all of these different parts that are kind of ready to go as ideas, or they come across different ideas. So I can use these and put these with these, okay? So now I have those different components already ready already, and I have these 6 that I'm going to use for my moth-eaten lace prompt, because I have 6 pieces of lace that has been moth-riddled that I want to use up. So the limiting factor here becomes the moth-eaten lace. So let's just go ahead and maybe, these are all, okay. Let's go ahead and start attaching these. I think this lace is maybe pretty dry. Okay. I'm gonna cut this because I just feel like I like this a little bit smaller. Okay. So when I attach this, I think I'm going to have, so I want to attach the lace to this tab. And I think I'm going to attach it in the front and the back. And also, okay, I don't want to have that be this, I think, prompt has been somewhat challenging. Honestly, I think that this has been a fairly challenging prompt. So I'm going to use these page tabs. I might cut them all down a little bit. And I'm going to make these into, but I'm just going to kind of center these onto these tabs. So I'm going to build on the front and the back, and they're going to be like this. And maybe the lace part should be the part that really sticks out of the book. I might, yeah. That's how this is going to work. I am getting there. Okay. So I'm just going to put some glue on here. And I'm going to use this bookbinding glue. And I'm going to kind of not center this necessarily. I'm going to kind of put it so that so this will be attached to my page, and this will be the part, the lace will, I want the lace to be a little bit less centered. So it's going to be sticking out of the book when it's attached to the page, if that makes any sense. So I might just put it a little bit on the hinged, out towards the hinged side. Bless me. My goodness. Ooh. I'm just making a mess here. Okay. This prompt has got me, ooh, this has been a little bit more difficult than I really thought it was going to be. What is the next one? Floating pocket and bold numbers. I think that'll be easier. I think that this is challenging because, like, pre-making, I don't really pre-make, like, page tabs like this. And, just to have this be the first thing is, I think, a bit of a challenge. So I am going to maybe stick this mothy guy onto this page tab in such a way that he might be kind of poking out a little bit. Actually, I'm probably going to put this on where he's going to be glued down inside the cover, inside the book. I think that's what I'll do. And I am going to use this. This is usually glue that I use for doing covers and things like that. And I have not done anything to, like, okay. So I'm going to make some page tabs out of the remainder of my moth-eaten lace, and they're going to look like this. And I'm going to go maybe wash my hands. I don't know. Anyway, sorry, I am covered in glue. I am just having a grand old time, though. So that is one page tab. Let me grungy up these remaining page tabs. That's going to be interesting. Let's just see. Okay, that looks better. These look like moths by themselves. Okay, kind of sort of the right shape. The light has changed on me, I feel like, since I've been sitting here doing this. Okay. Now that I've done all that, I'm going to go ahead and cut all of my laces in half. And some of these might not have a moth on them, and I think that that's fine. And I think some of them might have a moth kind of sticking out, like this one could very well be coming out from underneath that, and I think that'll be super cute. As well. So let's go ahead and attach that one right there like that. And these can just kind of go any which way, but we do want to kind of have them assembled so that they're okay, so that's going to stick out when we use this, and we'll put that kind of like that. And I think that'll be super cute. So there you have that guy. Oh my god, these are coming out adorable. I like this idea of doing this ahead of time because it's giving me lots of ideas and inspirations for ways to incorporate these pieces specifically into a journal and maybe build a whole journal around these pieces, or maybe not. But for page tabs, you could certainly have, I mean, page tabs are kind of a thing that lends itself to making a set of them at a time, if that makes sense, because they are going to be happening outside the journal. Also, I mean, I've never really kind of considered making page tabs in this way before. So this is really interesting. I like that. I like that a lot. I like the layering that's going on with that. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought to work on, because this is such a small scale, I guess, of, it's just such a small space to be doing such a detailed kind of a thing. I like that. This moth could be flying. That other one that I only had like the partial one, I was able to put that in there, and I love that. That looks very cool. Okay. So, okay, so in addition to making 6 moth-eaten lace tabs, which are, I have to say, I am super excited about how these came out. They need to dry, but I think these are great. My hands are just, I have made a huge mess. But I have made page tabs that I think are going to look really cute. I keep using this as my, let's flip it around. But I think they will look really, really cute as page tabs in a journal. Just look at that. Look at how cute they're gonna go into the journal, and also just be really cute. And I wouldn't have thought to do this without, you know, Luise and Barbara at Dephemerember. So, but I have 6 of these, and so this is it's just kind of helping me to think about like journal ideas and to kind of make these things in a way that like maybe other prompts haven't helped. So I have 6 of these. I have all of these other pieces of ephemera too, guys. So I have, like, I started out and I punched out a whole bunch out of book pages because I thought I might use these. And I'm gonna put these into my thing, but I also have these other this whole new kind of tab that I didn't have when I started this. I have also made, these are all the same, I also made this page tab using this, so this could also be just a cute little thing to put on something. I think it's really sweet and cute, and it can be used as a page tab or a corner tab. I think that would be really cute on like the edge of something as well. Whether I put it on the edge or use it as a tab. So I have this one as well. I have a little bit more of this lace, which I'm probably just going to get rid of because I don't need to have tiny little scraps of cut out lace. But I could use that for another embellishment if I was being really super crazy. And as well as I have a pile of other fussy cuts that I've started here. So I can go back and cut out some more moths or some more of these things, or I have these things kind of started as ideas. But I have, in addition to having these kind of finished tabs, I have all these other pieces and compartments of things started. So I'm going to add these to my other bit, and I have. So as far as that goes, I already have this box where I keep things that are like punched out things. So I keep page tabs and I have things. So these are just kind of ready. So these are my compartmental making that I already have. And so I have this tub of things that are already cut out. I'm going to put those away right now. As well as this thing that has some tags and things. So I'm probably going to put a lot of my Dephemerember things. These are kind of images. So images of things, as well as just some like fancy paper that's already cut down into sizes, as well as some things that are like little tags and things. So I'm probably going to, these images that I have cut out today, I'm just going to put in here so that I have them the next time I'm ready to make something and I need something to go on something. So you'll probably see this again where I pull this out to work on maybe the next. We'll see. What is the next? Let's see. So thank you for joining me, and I'm gonna leave these here to dry. I'm gonna go scrape this off of my hands. Maybe I'll wash the dishes. Maybe that's what I will do. These will go in here once I'm done. Once they're done drying, I don't want to put them in there. Thank you for joining me for the first day of Dephemerember. This was great fun. I'm glad to have gotten to start and start to see the benefits of doing this. So I look forward to continuing to do this throughout December. And tomorrow is floating pocket and bold numbers. I do think that floating pocket and bold numbers might be just slightly easier than this one because the thing that really, partially because it's just a small thing to work on, I think, with moth-eaten lace and a page tab. Page tab to me is a kind of a small thing, and floating pocket, I think I can fit bold numbers onto much easier. I will see you next time for that. Thank you so much for being here and spending this time, and I hope this has been useful to you. Leave me a comment, leave me a like, subscribe to my channel. That helps me out. I'm trying to grow, and I really do appreciate each and every one of you who and the friends that I've made. So I will see you next time. Till then, stitch scrappily and scrap happily. Bye bye.